Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to another episode of the Test of Time series. In the last episode, we finished up our game in Civilization 4. We won a scientific victory, launching our spaceship into the depths of interstellar space, and doing that before anyone else ever got the chance to. And in this game, we will be continuing the meta-series as Rome, starting our campaign in Civilization 5. Now, much like in Civilization 3, this will be another modded playthrough. We will be using a mod that I created, as well as a few other quality of life mods, which you can see on screen, and I will explain in a moment. But um, I decided that since I have a mod for Civilization 3 and I have one for Civilization 5, why not show them off? Play around with them. Now, this isn't to the same extent in Civilization 3, where I'm more used to my mod and the changes I've made than the base game. I have played Civilization 5, base game, as well as with dozens of other, mods that change a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's not a matter of that. This is more of a matter of, like, I made this mod, might as well show it off. My Civilization 5 mod isn't yet publicly available. I'll be releasing it on the Steam Workshop at some point in the future. I just want to finish up a few things. It's close to ready. It will be out soon, TM. But if and when I do release it, I will start putting a link to it in the description for my future Civilization 5 content. But besides my Civilization 5 mod, which in a similar vein to my Civilization 3 mod is a sort of general balance approach mod, try to make weak things strong and overwhelmingly strong things not as or reasonably strong. Um, Kind of give the player more options than just like the one, the handful of things everyone picks every single game. Um, Hopefully, veteran Civ 5 players will know where I'm kind of going with this. But of course, I will explain more as we go into the videos. The other five mods here are diplomacy values. This These are all like very simple non-gameplay changing mods. Diplomacy values, it just does things you see in Civilization 4, where you can see like discrete number values for the various modifiers you have with your AI player uh, opinions of you. So like, you can hover over the friendly or the hostile and see like why exactly they're friendly or hostile with you, and see like the actual math behind you know how the computers come to that conclusion. Then there's faster aircraft animations. As you might expect, this just speeds up the aircraft animations. The attack animations for bombers and fighters are really slow in this game for some reason. So if you have the animations turned on, I like having them on for this game. The animations of this game are usually like fairly snappy, or at least like interesting enough that like even the slower ones are still interesting to watch. Um, but the aircraft, especially like when they're flying at to the like extent of their range, they move like really slowly. So if you have like a big bombing run of like I don't know 10 or something bombers all flying as far as they can to hit a target, then that will take forever. So this just speeds that up. This just the makes big bombing runs not take forever. In real time. Historical religions complete. This is just adding more religions to choose from in the game. Religion works very differently in Civilization 5 and in 6 than it does in 4. So for those of you who are worried that adding more religion to the game might upset the balance, don't worry. There's still a limited number of religions that can be founded per game in 5 and 6. So this just gives you, and again, the differences between like different religions are like almost entirely cosmetic. Like this just gives you like a different new icon, to spread around your cities. And also it gives names to the great prophet units. In the base game, all great people except for great prophets have like names taken from like famous real world people. And this just gives that to great prophet units as well. Quick turns. This is similar to faster aircraft animations in that it um, it makes it so that if you have the animations turned on, like the battle animations, of the movement animations, it turns those off during the AI turns, so that when the AI is moving their units, you don't have to wait for all of their animations to complete. Um, but like if you want to see the animations for what you're doing, then you still see those. Again, just squeeze things up a bit. Um, then longer city unit religion names. There's a hard cap of I think 20 characters, or possibly even just 10. Um, it's 10 to 15 somewhere in there of like how long you can rename a city or unit or name your religion in the base game, and this changes that to I think 99. So if you wanted to if you want to rename your capital something more elaborate than you know could fit in the base game, um, then you will be able to. And then there's my mod, the general overhaul mod. So enough stalling. We will set up our game. We will be playing as Rome. And right away, Rome is one of the civilizations that I have buffed, hopefully. Um, Not that Rome is bad in the base game, they're kind of underwhelming. In the base game, Rome's ability is plus 25% production towards buildings that already exist in the capital. So if you build a library in your capital, you'll get a discount on building libraries in the rest of your cities. Obviously, that's better the more cities you have, but in Civ 5, you generally only want to have like 4 to 5 cities, maybe 6, because this game really punishes playing wide. Like, Civ 4 punished it a bit, like with the increased maintenance cost, and if you expanded too quickly, you would, outgrow your economy, or like expand faster than your economy could cover for it, and you would end up crashing. In Civ 5, it's even worse, because happiness is global in this game. It's not a per city basis. It's not like, your capital is ecstatic, and then, the city on the frontier that's getting bombarded is miserable and revolting. Um, Happiness is global. So if it's not like if one city's unhappy, it's everyone is unhappy. It's either everyone is happy or everyone is unhappy. And the more cities you have, there's like a happiness penalty for every city you have, like a base, like number of cities happiness penalty. So the more cities you have, the more unhappiness you have, and the harder you have to work to counteract it. And also, the cost of technologies and social policies, which is a new feature in this game, also increases the more cities you have. So techs get more expensive, um, social policies get more expensive, happiness gets more expensive. Um, it's This is the game where they really like crack down too hard on just insane city spam. So for those players who like playing really wide, who like having a big empire, who like spreading their color all over the map, this is kind of the Civ game to avoid, because this game really focuses on building tall, on building a few well-developed, tightly knit cities. Um, so that huge ramble aside, um, Rome's benefit in the base game is kind of not necessarily antithetical, but like it works better the more cities you have, and you don't necessarily want to have a lot of cities. And also, you still have to build that building in the capital first in order to get the discount. So if it's not in your capital yet, you don't get a discount on it anywhere, and you still have to pay full price for it in your capital. So it could save you like a substantial amount of hammers, but you still have to invest full price in your capital first before you build it anywhere else. Um, so it's just not really that impactful, not as useful as it sounds at first glance. So what I've done is I've made it so that you get a 50% discount full stop everywhere. It's not as big as the discount you would get in the main game, but it's also wider reaching. So you always get this discount no matter which city you're building it in or when you're building the building. You also get a gold maintenance discount for buildings. Every building, almost every building has a certain amount of gold you have to pay per turn in order to keep it running, and you'll get a little discount on that to kind of help offset the cost of having a lot of buildings in a lot of cities. And you also get 25% less unhappiness from that number of cities. So like I said, every city you have gets like a flat kind of penalty towards happiness. Like you said, a city, I think it's like 4 happiness for every city you own, like 4 or 6. Um, so this decreases that a little bit. This is just kind of to mitigate some of the penalties towards having a lot of cities. Um, the Roman unique unit is the Legion. This I have completely unchanged from vanilla. It's a swordsman that is stronger, like in pretty much all the Civilization games. Even when a little spoiler for Civ 6, it's the same thing. It's just a swordsman but stronger. The swordsman, base game swordsman, has a combat strength of 14. The Legion has a combat strength of 17. Um, and the Legion can also build roads and forts, much like in my Civ 3 mod. Base game Civ 3, you can't do that, but in one or both of the Rome scenarios in Civ 3, they can build roads and forts. So like there's support for it in the game. It's just like not in the base game itself. So like if you know, so legions are stronger swordsmen that can build roads and forts. Building roads is actually like a bit. I wouldn't say it's a bit more useful, but it is nice. It's not game changing in any way, but roads are a lot rarer in Civ 5 because each like a road actually costs gold to maintain. Like it's the complete opposite of Civ 3, where each road gave a tile more commerce. These ones cost gold to maintain, so like you only want roads between your cities. But if you connect a city to your capital via a road or via you know overseas methods, that city will get a gold bonus. Like it'll get a bonus to the amount of gold it makes per turn. So you do want roads, and you want roads in like very specific places. Like you don't want to just build roads everywhere, like in Civ 3, or build roads all over your resources in Civ 4. You just want them to connect them between your cities and possibly to the front line. Um, and building forts is nice. Forts aren't gonna you know you don't see them very often just because they take a while to build, and like you're usually just better served fortifying your unit on a hill or in a forest or in a jungle than taking the time to build a fort and then putting a unit in there. But it's something. Um, the other unique, in Civilization 4, every Civ in Civilization 5 has 2 unique things. However, unlike in Civilization 4, it's not one unique unit and one unique building. It's one unique unit, excuse me, and then one other unique thing. And that second unique thing can be either another unit, it can be a building, or it can be a tile improvement. Yes, certain civs have unique tile improvements in this game. Um, that's new to Civ 5. And some Civ 4 mods do that too. But the base game Civ 4, individual civs only have unique buildings. In my mod, in Skipper's Tweaks Civ 5 edition, um, Rome's second unique is a building. It's the bath. It replaces the garden, which is usually available at philosophy, I think, but I moved it earlier to engineering. Um, it has the same benefits as the garden, in that it gives 25% great people production points, much like the forum in Civilization 4 did. And it also gives 3 culture, and it does not require fresh water to be built. In base Civ, well, I shouldn't say in the base game. The garden, like the base garden, the city needs to be built on fresh water, so on next to a lake or on a river, in order for you to build a bath, and the bath gives you 25% great people points. That modifier is actually much more substantial in Civilization 5 than in Civilization 4. Um, just because the amount of great people points you can get per turn in a city is much higher, and like 25% great people points just means more in Civilization 5 than it does in Civ 4. The way the math works out. In the base game, Rome's other unique is another unit, the ballista. It replaces the catapult, and I think is just a little bit stronger. The problem is that siege units aren't actually that worth using until you get to basically cannons or artillery. Um, because the way siege units work in Civ 5 is that they can't move and fire. Um, they have to spend like one of their movement points setting up, and then they can shoot. Um, Now Civ 4 and Civ 3 veterans might be confused, like use a movement point, don't don't aren't cavalry the only units with more than one movement point? No. In Civ 4 and 5, every unit has at least 2 movement points per turn. And cavalry units instead have 4 or even 5. So it's still they still move twice as fast, but every unit can move at least 2 tiles per turn. So a catapult can't move 1 tile and then shoot because it still needs use up 1 movement point to set up to be able to fire. And once it's like set up, it can keep firing until it moves again, then it has to set up again. So they're just like it's just not worth it because they're too catapults and trebuchets, like the early game siege units, are just kind of too squishy, too frail, um, to really be worth using. Especially considering they're basically like a sitting duck until they're like set up and ready to fire. Um, so having a unique version of that's just that, but slightly stronger, isn't really worth much. Um, pretty sure I've addressed base siege units, but still, I thought it would be better to have, their give them a unique building instead of just another mediocre uh, unit. Um, so that is Rome in my mod compared to the base game, and I'll go over more changes between my mod and the base game, as well as between this game and uh, Civ 4 once we get into the actual game. I'm also going to real quick set up the map itself. We do not want to play on tiny. That was for testing some other stuff. Standard. I'm gonna turn off time victory just because like being able to play for as long as I need to. Standard size map. I think we'll just do continents. That's what I usually do for. Actually, I might do. Here. This game got a lot of map scripts. Like, you thought Civ 4 had a lot of map scripts. Civ 5, it's like, there were DLCs that gave you more map scripts. Like, this game is the king of map scripts. We also want to be playing on Prince. You can also new to Civilization 5, you can change the resource abundance metrics, like when generating starts. There's 6 settings here. Sparse, standard, and abundant. Sparse obviously makes resources more rare. Abundant makes resources more abundant, and standard keeps them normal. What it also does is that it increases or decreases the amount of strategic resources in a deposit. So in Civilization 5, and only in Civilization 5, each strategic resource has like a certain amount of that resource it gives. So like an iron mine isn't just going to give you iron. It'll give you like 3 iron or 6 iron. And each iron you get can support 1 unit that uses it. It's definitely not a good system, I would say. I could see like what they were doing with it, that like, the amount of like units you can field should be based on like how much of your resource you have, but to have it just be like the flat, like, you have 3 iron, therefore you can support 3 units that use iron, that's it, is kind of I like the way Civ 6 does it better. But That's how it works in this game. Um, so sparse makes it so that strategic resource deposits give 50% less of their resource, I think, and abundant makes it so they give 50% more. So like maybe it's like 2/3 for sparse, but it's say like a mine that gives you 6 iron in standard would give you 9 iron in abundant and 4 iron, I believe, in sparse. Um, there's also legendary start, which just puts like I think it's standard rules, and then it gives you a bunch of extra resources around your starting area, like a bunch of extra luxuries and a few extra standard strategics. Um, and then strategic balance, which like guarantees that you will have at least some of every resource in your starting area. That's usually used in multiplayer, but I like abundant just because there's more resources on the map in general, and sometimes you have to squabble over strategic resources, which I think is kind of an important part of the series. Is like, you know, sometimes you get unlucky, you don't spawn with any coal or any oil, and you have to go fight for it. You know? Pretty much everything else. You know, like with Civ 4, if there's enough demand, I'll do like a separate video explaining everything here. But I think for now we are good, and let us finally start the game.
The blessings of the gods be upon you, Caesar Augustus, Emperor of Rome and all her holdings. Your empire was the greatest and longest lived of all in Western civilization, and your people single-handedly have shaped its culture, law, art, and warfare like none other, before or since. Through years of glorious conquest, Rome came to dominate all the lands of the Mediterranean, from Spain in the west to Syria in the east, and her dominion would eventually expand to cover much of England and northern Germany. Roman art and architecture still awe and inspire the world, and she remains the envy of all lesser civilizations who have followed. O mighty Emperor, your people turn to you to once more reclaim the glory of Rome. Will you see to it that your empire rises again, bringing peace and order to all? Will you make Rome once again center of the world? Can you build a civilization that will stand the test of time?
Beautiful. I love the narrator in this game most out of the 3 games that have them. Um, I'm gonna put his name up on screen in post because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I love his voice the most. This is a start location. um, let's just settle our city, get a little bit more. Um, hmm. You know what? I'm just gonna stick with this and try to make it work. Gonna try not to be as picky as I can be in Civ 4. Um, so, you know what? I think I'll give this few re-rolls. Just yeah, this isn't a very like great start, especially considering we're like, you know, kind of close to the coast, but not really. Um, just re-roll it once or twice.
Of the gods be upon you, Caesar Augustus, Emperor of Rome and all her holdings.
That's yeah. All right. I think this is one. This is good enough, basically. Um. All right. Lots of grassland, nice river, some decent luxury resources. All right. Let us finally get started properly. Um. Also, I forgot to mention I've turned barbarians off for this game. I usually just play without them in 5 and 6, and often in 4, just because I find them annoying. We're gonna start building with a scout, and then uh, probably a monument. We want to research. Well, we have wine and silk near us. And in order to improve those, we're going to need calendar. In order to get calendar, we need pottery. So let's start with, excuse me, pottery. I usually start with pottery. Good. First deck to start with in Civ 5. Ooh, Behringer Crater Natural Wonder. Nice. Hopefully we can get close to that before anyone else does. So, new thing here in Civilization 5. Natural Wonders. These are special tiles or, in one case, pair of tiles that represent various, natural, famous like natural features in the real world. Like here, the Behringer Crater, which I think is in Arizona or Colorado, maybe. Um, here, and these usually give like better tiles than like most standard tiles do. Some of them in the base game are like kind of meh. So I made them stronger. I'm pretty sure Behringer Crater is one of those, but yeah, nice little bonus for exploring and makes the map feel a little bit more. I think just that little bit more special. Um, so there's another big new thing in Civilization 5: social policies. So now in Civ 5, the culture your cities make is more than just expanding their borders. All the culture you make per turn across all of your cities now is accumulated towards buying social policies. These are basically like the government or the civics of Civs 3 and 4 for this game. These represent your empire's government, how they work, how they, how your society kind of functions beyond just what building is in what city. Um, and each one costs a certain amount of culture per turn. Like you fill up this little meter, and then when it's full, you can buy a new one. Um, Once you have it, it's permanent. Each one is a small permanent bonus. They each shape your civ in various ways and give them all bonuses towards certain things. The four we can adopt here in the ancient era, because these two are not available until we enter the classical era. These two are not available until we enter the medieval era, and then this one's not available until we enter the Renaissance. These four are tradition, liberty, honor, and piety. Tradition is the building tall one. These give bonuses towards having a small amount of cities and making those cities big. Liberty is for city empires with a lot of cities. This is for settling cities quickly. This is for getting like basic stuff up and running. Um, Honor is your military branch. This is for improving your fighting capabilities and your army raising capabilities, and your army maintaining capabilities as well. And piety is the religion one. This is for getting religion quickly. This is for improving your religion, stuff like that. Patronage is for city states. We haven't met one yet. I'll explain what they do when we meet one. Aesthetics is for culture. Commerce is for gold and for trade over land. Exploration is for navy and for trade overseas. Rationalism is for science. Um, what we are going to do is we are going to adopt Liberty, I think, because I always go Liberty. Um, in the base game, like in base Civ 5, tradition is usually the one you want the
Thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn.
technology. Um, Tradition is usually the one you want to go for because, like I said, the base game penalizes, rather harshly penalizes going too wide. So, like you want to play tall, and tradition is better for playing tall. So, tradition is usually the pick. But I buffed a lot of the non-tradition policies. I hope enough to make them worth taking. Um, but I usually just go Liberty anyway because it gives certain bonuses that I like more. for my playstyle. Um, and since Rome is kind of about playing wider, then I think playing, going with the play wide policies makes sense. So the reason I'm not building a worker yet is because this next social policy we will get in 3 turns will give us a free one. Um, I think for our next, we can build a settler right away, but again, we can get a free one with our culture. And I think the next one we will get will be the shrine. It's good to get a shrine up and running early because a shrine will give you +1 faith per turn. Faith is a new, well, it's basically a currency. It's also a yield. It functions a lot like gold in that you use it to buy things in your city. Um, but faith is for religious matters, so it's for buying religious units. It's like religious money basically. Like the more you have of it, the more effectively you can spread and you utilize your religion and its beliefs. Another thing worth noting is that unlike in Civs 3 and 4, when you use gold to purchase something in your city, you're not using it to rush the production of it. Like, you're not using it to fill up the production bar of it in your city. What you're doing is you're paying a certain amount of money and you just get it instantly. With a unit, it will appear instantly in your city, but like you can't use it until next turn. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough gold to show you how that works. But if I were to like buy a worker, it would appear in my city, and then I could start using it next turn. So like functionally, it works the same as gold rushing something in Civ 4. Like you queue up a worker, then you use your gold to rush it, and then the next turn it's finished and you can use it. So functionally, it's the same, but this way, like, but with buildings, you get the building instantly and you start getting the benefits from it instantly. Um, so it's and there are some benefits to having like a unit in your city before like technically being able to use it. So there's some swings and roundabouts to it. But yeah, I'll explain more about religion once we get some faith going. We get enough faith to found a pantheon. Um, so lots of little sound cues for when you can do. And there we are. Free worker. Go spawn in like one of the tiles outside of your city. So workers function pretty identically to how they did in 3 and 4. You give them a job, they will take a certain amount of turns to do it. Oh,
Eu sou
hello.
Pedro, imperador do Brasil. Tenho pouco tempo para gracejos. O que o traz aqui?
Oh, Pedro. There's our neighbor, Pedro of Brazil. Looks like he spawned in a fair amount of jungle, which is good for him. At the very least, less bad for him than it would be for anyone else. So yeah, I think now we'll start on. No, we won't, because he's about to grow. Yeah, 1 turn until it grows. So, like in Civ 4, when you start building a settler in a city, that will pause the growth of that city. Like, it will just stop growing. And like any excess food will go towards towards the production of that settler. Unlike in Civ 4, no such penalty occurs for workers. So you can build workers um, without slowing the growth of your city. So I think now that Rome has grown, I'm going to shift settler back into production. Like I said, we'll get a free one soon-ish with Liberty, but we need 2 more policies before we can get that, and I think it's probably better to start expanding now. Okay, now that we have calendar and we can start improving the various luxury resources we have immediately around us, I think why don't we go writing next so we can go libraries, possibly even the Great Library, get our science up and running, and then we will go over to bronze working. Um, actually, no, because I forget bronze working is in. You need bronze working to chop down forests in Civ 4. In Civ 5, all you need is mining to chop down forests, and you need bronze working to chop down jungles in Civ 5, whereas in Civ 4 you need iron working to chop down jungles. So they made chopping woods and jungles easier in Civ 5 than they did in Civ 4. Nevertheless, I think we're still gonna go towards bronze working so we can find some iron and maybe use some of our legions. Um, we'll probably still go on the warpath with our legions this game, even though early game warfare and conquest is usually not the best idea in this game. We'll still do it because it's kind of a tradition at this point. Build up some legions, run over some neighbors, um, or a neighbor in this case. Um, but after that, want to go masonry so we can get the pyramids, and then the wheel so we can build roads, and sailing so we can sail. Um, yeah, like in Civ 4, ancient ruins are still a thing. You move a military unit onto it, you get a prize basically. One of those prizes that's new to Civ 5 is that your unit can get a free upgrade. Now, my warrior here upgraded into a spearman. Normally in Civ 5, a warrior upgrades into a swordsman or a legion for us Romans. But the way the upgrade system from a goody hut works is that we'll always upgrade a unit into one that does not require a strategic resource. So that's just like so you don't get stuck with a swordsman before you even have any iron to maintain the swordsman. Because like I said, you need one iron for each unit that uses iron. Um, so it'll make a warrior into a spearman because a spearman doesn't require strategic resources, whereas a swordsman does. And swordsmen are also classical era units as well. They're like fairly late into the classical era as well, so it doesn't like want to give you that huge power spike very early on. Whereas a spearman is just at bronze working. Um, so it's just like for balance reasons that a warrior gets turned into a spearman from a goody hut, instead of into a swordsman. Um, so a pantheon. This is the our first sort of step towards founding a religion. Whereas in Civ 4, the first person to research a specific technology will found a religion related to that technology. Like the first person to research meditation gets Buddhism, founded somewhere in their empire. Um, in Civ 5, um, the way religion works is instead you need to accumulate a lot of faith. Um, and once you accumulate a certain amount of faith, you get a pantheon. A pantheon is you can think of it as kind of like a social policy in that it's a modifier towards your empire, but it's also the first step towards founding a religion because in order to found a religion, you need a pantheon first, basically. Um, and the exact pantheon you want is usually if you are intent on founding a religion and using one, you usually want to go for one that will give you more faith. Because the more faith you have, the quicker you can found a religion and the better chance you have of getting the beliefs you want. Um, I'll explain what that means a little bit later. Um, but like the exact best pantheon kind of depends on what's around you. Like certain pantheons will give extra faith on certain resources. So like here goddess of the festivals, this will give us +1 culture and +1 faith on each wine and incense resource. We don't have any incense, but we have a lot of wine. So that would be good for us because we would get a lot of extra faith on a lot of tiles that are near us. Conversely, something like here up religious idols +1 culture and faith for gold and silver. There's no gold or silver anywhere near us, so that would not be good for us, but it would be good for someone who had a lot of gold and silver around them. So based on what I see, we have a couple options. We can go the aforementioned goddess of festivals for all the wine, because we have a fair amount of wine around us. Um, we could go for desert folklore, because there's a sizable patch of desert here. This gives +1 faith on every desert tile, but that would probably only affect 1 or 2 cities, depending on how many we can squeeze into this patch of desert. Um, could go for natural wonders, which would give us +4 faith on, or one with nature, which would give us +4 faith on natural wonders. That would only give us faith on this one tile, but it would be 4 faith on that one tile instead of just one. Um, and for ones that would give us faith, I think that's about it. I think I will go for Goddess of Festivals. Might not be the optimal decision, but we're already working to wine resources, so we'll get that extra faith and culture right away. And they don't have to be improved either. You don't have to put an improvement on them to get that bonus either. So you'll notice that instead of putting our faith towards the Pantheon, the little lightning bolt, we're now getting a great profit. So once you have founded your Pantheon, any faith you earn after that will go towards a great profit. Once you accumulate enough faith, you have a chance of getting a great profit. There's a little bit of RNG with it. You need at least 134 on quick speed in order to get a great profit. I know sometimes you have to wait like a little extra. I don't know the exact rules behind it. But once you hit that threshold, then you have a chance of getting a great profit, and a great profit will allow you to found a religion. Then once you found a religion, you can add whatever beliefs you want to it, similar to how we picked our pantheon. Um, I think for our first city, we don't want to settle there because it won't have any. Like not yet. It won't have. We could settle up here to grab that wine. Lots of rivers for good farming. Lots of sheep. Like lots of good tiles around there. Maybe we could put this city here. I would like to settle next to the Behringer crater at some point, but maybe not immediately. I think I will go here so we can be on the river and get lots of freshwater tiles for farms. So settling near freshwater is good in Civ 5 for many of the same reasons that it is in Civ 4. You don't get a health bonus for settling on freshwater because there's no health system in this game. But farms next to freshwater will get a bonus once you research the technology civil service. You can see here, food from the farm increased by 1 on tiles with access to fresh water. So if you build a lot of farms next to rivers, then once you hit the civil service technology, all those farms will be, get a lot more food. Unlike in Civ 4, you don't need to build a farm next to a source of fresh water. Like these grassland tiles down here that are not next to the river, we can still build farms on these, and they will still give extra food. But they don't get the bonus from the civil service technology because they're not next to fresh water. You know what I mean? And you don't need to chain farms either. It's not like you need to build a farm next to a river, then build anything like that. It's very simple. It's just build a farm. If it's next to fresh water, it gets a bonus from civil service. If it's not next to fresh water, it gets a bonus from fertilizer, way the heck down here in industrial era. So settling near freshwater is good early on because it gives you like earlier access to like lots of food. And if your city is next to freshwater, specifically if it's next to a river, you can build the watermill building, which gives you a little extra food and production. You can also, much later on with electricity, build the hydro plant, which gives +1 production on every tile next to a river, similar to the levee from Civ 4. And there are other buildings other small little things available um, for cities next to rivers or fresh water in this game. Not like Civ 6 where you get more housing, everything like that. Something next to rivers is more of a nice to have in Civ 5 than like any kind of early game necessity. Um, so now that we have finished building the settler and that granary, um, we could start on another settler. We would finish it before we get the next policy that would give us the free settler. Um, but I think expanding, like settling another city again, might be a little too premature because we might not have the happiness to cover it yet. Um, I think I'm going to take a gamble and build the Great Library. Now, the Great Library in Civ 5 works the same way the Oracle does in Civ 4. Once whoever builds it gets a free technology, and that technology is something that like it would have to be something that you could research. I say it's a gamble because the Great Library is available very early on. It's on a technology that the AI will go for very readily, and the AI will gun for it. It's even on crits, like the moderate difficulty, it's surprisingly difficult to actually build the Great Library before anyone else does. Oh, wow. They sound really close. That looks like Ethiopia based on the colors. Yeah, it says unmet player until we actually meet them. So I think they will be our expansion target. Just gonna build a uh, um, hmm, I'll build a granary here. Let's say it can grow a little faster. Um, Again, not going to build a worker there yet. Oh, that's the second city. That's why. Um, Sorry, I'm off. So, not gonna build a worker there just yet, because once we research masonry, we can build the pyramids, and if we build the pyramids, which requires us to have taken liberty as a social policy, we will get 2 free workers, and our workers will be faster. So the reason I like liberty is because the citizenship policy makes your workers 25% faster. And the Pyramid's Wonder makes them 25% faster again, so 50% faster total. That means on quick speed, you can build a road in 1 turn or chop down a forest in like instantly instead of taking 2 turns. You also get up to 3 free workers and a free settler, and a couple other nice bonuses. So that's why I like it. That's personally why I go for it. Actually, it might be prudent to build a worker here just because it'll take a while to, even if we like do get the Great Library, we still then have to build the pyramids after that, so it might take too long. I won't rely on getting the pyramids before I start building things in Antium. I'll just build them. Okay, so we established embassy in Haile Selassie's capital, which means we can basically get like vision around it. You need to have embassy writing to be able to establish an embassy in someone else's capital. So if an AI offers to set up an embassy in your capital before you get writing, then you know that they have writing. Since we can't...
Olá?
Yeah, since we can't give them an embassy, we know that none of these guys have writing yet. So that is, if nothing else, good for us, because that means we have a better chance of. That means none of these guys are gonna get Great Library before we do. Someone else, but we haven't met everybody yet, so there's still possibility, but it is not a guarantee. Oh, so this is totally an inland sea. That's kind of unfortunate. Well, it's not too bad, but it's a little sad. Oh, have iron. Yes, we have. You can see here 3 iron. Not a lot, but it's better than 0. Oh, another free settler. I think I want to send this guy over here, or maybe down here. I would like some coastal access in order to, like, be able to use all these, like, nice fish tiles and be able to build a navy and explore and such. I think I'll send this guy down here just to kind of, cut off access from, Selassie from trying to settle, like, anywhere over here. We can save this spot for last, because, probably want to settle there after I get sailing, so I can, like, be able to give that city more food, more quickly. Go. And this city I will just build granary in. We're close to finishing the Great Library. And we can get started on the pyramids relatively soon. We're not gonna finish this before we get we're gonna finish this before we can start the pyramids, so a little bit of awkward timing.
Deveremos
He
prosperar
already wants to be
através do
friends. It's nice. There we go. All right, we did get the Great Library.
These are the shrine where all the relics of the ancient saints, full of true virtue, and that without delusion or imposture, are preserved and reposed.
Excellent. Oh. And we got managed to finish masonry that turn anyway. So must be because if you build the Great Library, you get a library building in the city it's in for free, because it's basically like it's kind of like it's acting as the library for that city. So we also get 2 slots for great works of writing. We will get to that when we get to that. Now we can start on the pyramids, which will, like I said, give us 2 free workers and make all of our workers work faster. And we can choose a free tech. So you can see we can't pick any of these technologies that are red because we don't have the prerequisites for them. So like these are technologies we would not be able to research without researching something else first. So the technologies we can get are trapping, sailing, philosophy, drama, poetry, ironworking, and archery. We could get ironworking in order to be able to get our legions right away. But I think we want to pick up philosophy instead, because that will give us temples, which will give us even more faith, and give us extra bonuses on our wine. That is new to my mod. Normal temples will do that. Also get the National College, which once we build a library in every city we have, we can put this in a city and it will give that city 50% science. Think of it like the academy that a great scientist can build in Civ 4. It will also give us the Oracle, which in this game gives us a free social policy instead of a free technology like it did in Civ 4. We could also go for drama and poetry to increase our culture. I think getting that extra faith and the extra science will
There is only one.
Will behoove us more. Because science is king in Civ 5. Everything is tied to science. Um, like everything is unlocked with a technology. Like being able to get more culture, like culture-related buildings. You have to research technology to get those. Like everything is a technology in Civ 5. So the more tech you have, the more everything else you have, basically. There's just like a the kind of woodwind or like brass instrument in the background of that song. It was just like, and it almost sounded like the dial tone of like the phone or something. I was really confused for a very brief moment. So once we finish the pyramids in Rome, I think I am going to start working on another set because we will have sailing by then. Oh, ah, someone beat me to the pyramids. Gosh dang it! That was the one where I actually really wanted. Uh, bugger and blast and tarnation. All right. All right. Well, we'll start working on the settler then. That is that is that is a shame and a half. Um, on the plus side, we do have enough money to be able to buy a worker, so we can just buy that worker in Umai. Um, after the settler, I think I'll start working on Temple of Artemis. Um, that will Temple of Artemis is a really good. Uh, actually, why don't we do that first because we can get it faster from that. Temple of Artemis gives plus
Deveremos
10%
prosperar.
growth in. Dang it!
He who
Never mind. Uh, uh, this is Civ 5 for you. Like, you get beat to wonders so quickly. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna finish working on the settler, and then maybe I'll try for something else. Oracle would be nice. That free social policy and the extra free great scientist point would be nice. That's probably the earliest you can get a great scientist. Um, point. Well, no, we're getting one from the Great Library. Yeah, never mind. Um, Stonehenge would be nice. That's just 5 flat free faith. Um, we'll try for Stonehenge. If we get beaten to that, then we'll go for Oracle. Because I'm pretty sure we're the first people that get philosophy. Um, but we want to go for next. I think I want to go for optics next. We can get lighthouses and improve the coastal tiles of our cities. Then after that, I think I want to go engineering to be able to get our path, our unique building, and then we'll go ironworking to get our legions. I would at the very least go construction before ironworking because then we can get composite bowmen, which are unironically like better at lowering cities' defenses than catapults because they don't need to set up. Um, is that there's that little instrument in the background of the music again throwing me off. Uh, yeah, I swear I have like a Pavlovian response to that wow sound effect. Like I hear it in my nightmares, basically. We're gonna buy a worker here because it would take 11 turns to build it, and we can just, get it instantly next turn by buying it. Get excuse me. We'll get whipping me around. We'll get a shrine, then a monument, and a library. Shrine for the extra faith, monument for the extra culture, library for the science. The science is arguably more important. want to get more faith quickly, so we can get hopefully get our religion before anyone else. The culture, so our city's borders can expand. And then we can focus on the science. Would like to get a library at every city so we can start the build the national college, that national wonder I was talking about. We're nowhere near being able to get a golden age naturally. So golden ages work a little differently in Civ 5. I don't remember what number it was. Than they do in Civ 4. In Civ, like they give a similar effect. Every tile that gives at least 1 gold gives 1 more. And all your cities, I think, get a plus 20% production. We can see here. Yeah. Cities gain plus 20% production, and your empire gets 20% extra culture. So you get basically like 20% extra culture. I don't know if it's like within the city itself. Let's check and see if it's making more than... Yeah, so it's after... It's like empire-wide. So like you get plus 2 extra culture per turn towards your accruing social policies. And your cities get 20% more production. So it's similar to how it works in Civ 4, but the way you get them is different. You can get... you just saw we got a free one from that social policy. The way you get them naturally is from excess happiness. So like once you get a certain amount of happiness, not necessarily per turn, but once you have like if your global happiness is positive, any of the, like all the excess happiness, like happiness beyond what you need to keep your cities from, not burning themselves to the ground, is added to a counter, basically like a little golden age meter. And once that fills up, you get a golden age. You can also get one from great artists. If you earn a great artist, you can use them to instantly start a golden age. But someone beat us. Ethiopia beat us to founding a religion. That is unfortunate. And with every move this man makes, like he is making himself more and more of a target. I don't want to go after Brazil because he's our friend, even though he has the Temple of Artemis. But Ethiopia, man, he's closer, like for one thing, and also has a fair amount of luxuries that we do not have, so that would offset a lot of the unhappiness for taking those cities. And he beat us to first religion, which is not that big of a deal in this game, but still is kind of... it does mean we lose out on a few options for what beliefs we can take, because when you found a religion, you cannot add any beliefs to it that exist in another religion. So you can see here, plus 2 faith in quarries is his pantheon, faith to purchase cathedrals, and plus 2 gold for each city following this religion. So I probably wasn't going to take any of those anyway, but still. That also means he'll probably start spreading it to us, even if we get our own religion. AIs are super zealous about spreading their religion in this game, like really to their own detriment. Like they will spread their religion to your cities before they finish spreading it to all of their own cities. Like they are hell bent on converting you. Oh, we're unhappy. But what are they saying? Yeah. Yeah. So unlike in Civ 4, where a city can have like multiple religions, every city in Civ 5 has a dominant religion. You can see, as above, it has the Oriental Orthodoxy religion. If I were to found my own religion and spread it to his city, it would not have his religion and my religion. I would like have to convert his citizens away from his religion and into my religion. So like there can be only one, basically like Highlander mode. Need happiness. Sweet. Can we buy off him? I only have one copy of Silk, jackass. Put some pots. Want some hots?
Yeah,
All right. Now we're in the pot. We're in the black again, so we can please settle this. Yeah. I think we're gonna build a lighthouse here first. Um, that will improve the coastal tiles. Uh, yeah. Happiness will be a little bit of a trouble. Another good reason to go construction early on is you get Colosseums, which will give you a little extra happiness. Um, there we go. We did get Stonehenge. It's nice. I am just gonna keep pawing on the wonders. I don't care, man. I am a wonder hoarder. That's how I play the fives. I just build any wonder I can get my grubby little mitts on. There we go. Great profit. Excellent. Somber music we're listening. Alright, so we also can't found Oriental Orthodoxy because Haile Selassie beat us to that. Like, I mean, there are not this many religious icons to choose from in base Civilization 5. I can tell you that for free. But, I think what religion we want to start is pick something Roman. About Roman Catholicism. There we go. So yeah, now we can pick our beliefs. So there are different kinds of beliefs in a religion as well. There is a founder belief, which is something that benefits us and only us. So even if we spread our religion to other people's cities, they do not get the benefit of these beliefs. I always pick tithe. That's +1 gold for every 4 followers of this religion. So that's like total across the entire world. So it's like for every 4 people following this religion total, we get 1 gold. And I think for our follower belief, this will apply to anyone. This will apply to like any city that has their religion in it. I think I'm going to pick pagodas, because this will allow us to buy pagoda buildings with faith in our cities, and pagodas give 2 faith, 2 culture, and 2 happiness each. There are a couple different kinds of buildings you can build. Buy with faith, rather. There was the cathedral that Haile Selassie picked for his religion that gives 1 faith, culture, and happiness, and has a slot for a great work of art. There are monasteries, which give 2 faith, 2 culture, and 1 extra faith and 1 extra culture on tiles with wine or incense. That would be good for us, but right now we need happiness, and pagodas give the most happiness, which is why I'm picking them. Mosques give more faith but less happiness, so we want pagodas for this religion, because we need the happiness. I think for our next belief, we'll also pick peace gardens, because that gives +2 happiness from garden buildings, and as I mentioned earlier, our unique building replaces the garden. So, we'll get a bonus from something we were probably going to be building anyway. Right here, I'm going to tell it to automatically, well, actually, I should have it automatically buy a missionary when I have enough. So I can spread it to my other cities. Yeah, and like in before, Golden Ages last a certain amount of turns, where they automatically end. And I think with that, I'm going to call this episode here. We've done quite a lot. We've expanded 4 cities. We founded a religion. We've built 2 wonders already. 3. Let me check. 2. Yeah, we built 2 wonders already. And we are well on our way towards winning the game. So, as always, if you liked the video, be sure to give it a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. and leave comments. Doing all of those is good for the algorithm. It tells the automated YouTube gods behind the scenes that you like my stuff, you want other people to see more my stuff, and that will get me closer to being able to do this full time. Um, and as always, be good, stay safe, and I will see you all next time.